It is Saturday. Today I want to reflect on the memories that I have of my grandmother growing up. Grandma would wake up in the mornings and make herself some coffee. Grandma always had coffee in her coffee pot. She would take her coffee and sit at her dining room table with a folded paper towel or napkin right underneath her coffee mug. She would turn on her little kitchen radio onto a Christian channel, and sometimes I would hear news, and sometimes I would hear preaching, and sometimes it would be music. And it was always at a comfortable volume level, not too high and not too low. She would open her kitchen door that went downstairs and into her breezeway. She would open her breezeway doors and walk her dog out to go to the bathroom. She probably would look around to see what kind of gardening she wanted to work on for that day. Grandma always answered her phone. When her phone rang, she picked it up, and she would sit at that bar stool right next to the phone hanging on the wall with its very, very long cord. Grandma would feed her little dog and then make herself something small to eat, and then wash her dishes out when she was done. Then Grandma would go get dressed for the day. She would tidy up her home, and then around 11 a.m. she would turn The Young and the Restless on, and she would watch TV from her dining room table, and then sometimes she would move out to the living room and sit on her couch to watch some Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful. After that, I would catch my grandma laying on her bed taking a nap with her little dog. She would wake up from her nap, make herself something to eat for lunch, and once again sit at her dining room table in her kitchen with her drink sitting under a folded napkin or paper towel. I can still hear her kind voice, her laugh, and her kind words. Once again, she would get up and wash her dishes from lunch. Sometimes she would let them air dry on the counter, and sometimes she would dry them off herself right away and put them away. And if she didn't have any errands to run, I know that she would be out in her yard doing yard work and gardening. I have many memories of Grandma mowing her grass and pulling weeds and fixing up her flower beds. Soon dinner would roll around and she would cook herself up some food, feed her little dog, sit back down at that dining room table with that napkin or paper towel folded up and placed right underneath her cup. She would eat her dinner and then proceed to wash up those dishes. If she didn't have visitors after that, or if she didn't have any phone calls, then you would probably find her in the living room winding down, watching something on TV. Then the TV would be turned off. She would go shower and get her PJs on and let her little doggie out one more time to go to the bathroom. They would come back in, she would lock everything up, and off to bed she would go until the next day. Some more memories I have of Grandma. Grandma always sent birthday cards with $5 in it, cash. Even as a married adult, I received these cards every year until she couldn't do it anymore. And along with the birthday cards, she would write letters in cursive handwriting. I still have some of those letters that she wrote to me as an adult. How I miss receiving letters from my grandma. I remember Grandma having yummy baked goods on the kitchen counter all the time. If company came over, Grandma was always happy to see them, and she would invite them in to sit at her dining room table for a cup of coffee and just chat. Or, if the weather was nice, they would sit in the breezeway and chat. And then, when it was time to go, Grandma would always walk them out all the way to the driveway, and she would wave goodbye until she couldn't see them anymore. Now that I'm an adult, I wish I would have sat down with her more and learned how to do some of this gardening that she did so beautifully. I also wished I would have taken the time to learn many of the recipes of all the foods that she used to make. I wish I would have talked to her more about her life and learned more about her. But I was young, and I only really cared about what was going on in my own personal life, my friends, or my boyfriends. Sometimes I would find Grandma sitting out in her breezeway enjoying some fresh air. She always looked so content and at peace in her life. A memory I have when I was about 12 years old living in California, my grandma came out to visit on her 60th birthday. I walked around the whole entire block of the neighborhood knocking on doors of all of my neighbors and asking them if they had any spare birthday candles that I could have, because I had baked my grandma a cake and I wanted to collect 60 candles. And guess what? I ended up collecting all 60 candles and I put them on her cake. Grandma definitely went to church. She went to Peter Switch Nazarene Church. I used to go with her, and I even sang one time in that church while my mom played the piano. The name of the song I sang was called "For Those Tears I Died." I always remember the people in that church being so friendly and nice. I loved sitting by my grandma in church. She would always play with my hair, rub my back, and it always felt so nice. I always felt so loved by her. After my kids were born, on the phone calls that we would have together, she would always tell me, I need to get my children in church. Well, I remember when I did get them in church faithfully, I called my grandmother to tell her that I have my kids in church. And then I remember telling her the day that they accepted Jesus as their Savior. I remember that I couldn't wait to call my grandma and tell her, and we rejoiced together. And one thing I'm pretty sure of is this, that she did not even realize how much she impacted my life for Jesus Christ. I thank God for giving me my beautiful, loving grandmother, Edith Pfaffenberger. This is just some of the memories that I have with my grandma. And I know that we will have forever memories again because of Jesus dying on the cross and making a way for us to live forever with Him. That means I will be with Jesus and my grandma and all my loved ones in perfect health, perfect peace, perfect love.